David here with Figboot on Pens, back again with another fountain pen review. Today, I have a look at a pen from a company I haven't featured in a while, and that is Xezo, and that is spelled Xezo. The company was founded back in 2001 and is based out of Eugene, Oregon, and they manufacture and sell items such as like watches and eyewear and leather goods, as well as writing instruments. For their pens, parts are produced in several areas of the world, but the assembly is done here in the US. The Xezo name is a unique one, and as company lore goes, the founder of the company had the name come to him in a dream. Many of the company's fountain pen offerings feature mother of pearl and abalone materials, and the pen I have for you today is one of those offerings. It is called the Maestro Jubilee Classic of the Ocean and celebrates the 20th anniversary of Xezo's Maestro All Mother of Pearl series back in 2003. What I'm going to do today is go over the parts and features of this limited edition offering, talk about what I care for and what I don't care for about it. I'll show some measurements, size comparisons, and provide a writing sample. So, in order to get a closer look at this vibrant offering, please join me over here at camera 2. The pen arrives in this box with this sleeve. And inside, Xezo has one of the more uniquely designed boxes out there. What happens is you open it at the middle. You can see that it opens, well, I just dumped that out, but you can see how it just opens in the middle just like that. Inside here, we have some accessories, which were the converter as well as some ink cartridges. The website says that they use Mont Blanc ink cartridges, but I don't believe the ones in here were Mont Blancs. I don't know if that's just a typo on their side or what, but I don't believe those because Mont Blanc typically brands theirs, and these weren't branded at all. And you know what? Let me take out the pen for a second. We have a nice polishing cloth, and then there is a warranty card with just some information on there and the number of the pen. And here is the pen. This is the Xezo Maestro Jubilee Classic of the Ocean. And the distinguishing feature of this particular pen is that mother of pearl. And that this pen has chrome-plated brass trim, but then the 240 checkers are made with oceanic white mother of pearl and Tahitian black mother of pearl. And these have a hardness of 4.5 on the Mohs scale, which is actually as hard as steel. So this material is rather durable and rather hard. Every one of these small squares is cut by hand and skillfully applied to the barrel. And the colors here can range in a rainbow of colors. There might be whites and pinks and reds and greens and purples or turquoises or blacks or even grays. And every pen is going to be unique and one of a kind in regard to color and texture. I just think that this is really interesting material, and I just like the variation, especially when you twist it, it really does come to life. And I like this checkered pattern on here. I feel it's unique. And all of the squares are very crisp and clean, and I just like the craftsmanship involved in here, so it's very well constructed. And let's take a look at some of the parts and features. We have a black resin finial here on the end, and then we have a bit of a tiered look here, almost similar to something like Pelican does. And then on the end, we do have the name Xezo, and then we have the name of the pen, and then we have the number of the pen, that this is a limited edition of 223 units. We have the clip. I'd say it's a rather nondescript clip. It does have a rather large end here. It is fairly flexible and will work good in a variety of materials. The barrel is straight. And then on the end here, we have this band. And I do like the patterning on this band, that leaf patterning, which does look nice. I'd say there's a rounded step down to the barrel, and the barrel is straight. It does have a slight amount of texture to it, I mean, due to variations in thicknesses and the material and the bonding materials in each pen, the weight of each pen can vary from like right around 39 to 43 grams. The one pen I have here comes in at 42 grams or 45 with a filled converter. Here at the end, we do have some posting threads and then a concave piece at the end, and then the very end is flat. I will say I'm not a huge fan of posting threads, but I find these to be rather visually unobtrusive, and so those don't bother me that much. This cap does twist off with basically one full rotation, so one rotation and that comes off. And underneath we have a stainless steel number 6 nib. I believe this is a Bach nib. It is branded with Xezo there. And this pen is available in both fine and medium. Now this is a two-tone nib. I think personally on this particular pen I would have preferred to have just the straight silver, just because I think that matches a little bit better with the material, but there's nothing inherently wrong with the two-tone nib there. The section is metal. It's a chrome-plated brass, and while it is slightly concave, I do find it to be a little bit on the slippery side. Maybe we could have made it a little bit more concave or had some type of texture on here, but I do find it to be slightly slippery, but not overly so. Then we have the cap threads, which even though they're metal, I don't find them to be sharp. And then there's a rounded step up here to the barrel that is kind of accentuated with this ring. So even if it comes in contact with your grip, that it really doesn't feel terrible at all. And you're not really feeling the large edge here on the step up or the threads at all. This pen is plenty long enough to use unposted, that it does have a decent weight to it. It is kind of have a metal base to it, the brass, and so I do care for the weight. It does post with twisting, and I will say that it posts with basically twisting just one rotation, which is nice because I really don't like it when you have to like twist a couple of times to take off the cap and then twist a couple of times to post, but this one posts fairly quickly. I will say that it is fairly well balanced. It does add a bit of length to it, and that with the center of balance kind of pressing at about this point on your hand, I don't feel it overly backweights the pen, but particularly in my case, I prefer to use this pen unposted. But if you like to post your pens, even though this cap does have a bit of weight to it, I don't feel it overly backweights the pen. This is a cartridge converter pen. As I showed before, it does arrive with some cartridges, and a converter is provided as well. With all of the metal in here, then this is a pen that you would not want to eyedropper. The Xezo Maestro Jubilee Classic of the Ocean is available from the Xezo website. The price for this pen is $225, and I don't feel that that's bad for what you receive here, especially with this very interesting mother of pearl design on here. And I think it offers something a little bit different. And I do enjoy that checkerboard pattern. And like I said, this is a limited edition of 223 units. Okay, and I'll put a link to in the notes below where you can find it on the company website. So for right now, let's go ahead and do some measurements, and then we'll come back with some size comparisons and then a writing sample. Here we have some size comparisons for the Xezo Maestro Jubilee Classic of the Ocean. In regard to some other Xezo pens, this one here was the Maestro Legrand. And then this one here was the Maestro Black Mother of Pearl. And this one had some nice black mother of pearl and ruthenium on here. And then this one here was called the Maestro 925. And you can see here that the silver has tarnished a little bit, and that I should probably polish that up and clean that up. But this barrel here is made with silver, and that's what it looks like when it tarnishes a little bit. In regard to some non-Xezo offerings, this is what it looks like with the Lamy All-Star and a TWSBI VAC 700 Iris. And here it is with a Sailor Pro Gear. In regard to uncapped comparisons, here it is with that VAC 700, slightly shorter than that. And here it is with the Pro Gear and the Lamy All-Star. Here we go with the writing sample for the Xezo Maestro Jubilee. This is Classic of the Ocean. And this is the medium stainless steel nib. I will say on the Xezo website, when you take a look at it, that there's not just one listing for this pen and then you select your nib size. There's one size, that's just the way they do it on their website. There is one listing for the medium and one listing for the fine. So if you're looking for one or the other, you need to find that listing as opposed to just seeing this pen and then selecting your nib size. In regard to inks, we have an ink that I really enjoyed, and that is Guitar Lady Emerald. This is what the ink looks like. It's a nice kind of solid, dense green that has a bit of kind of reddish sheen to it. It looks somewhat similar to the Diamine November Rain. And then here it is with the Endless Alchemy Mystic Forest. So all of those are basically in the same family. This is what the bottles look like. I kind of like the tag that's on there, so I've kept the tag on there. And I even like the top of the cap. But I've enjoyed this Lady Emerald ink. And I should test out some of the other inks from Guitar as well. And here we go with the rest of the writing sample. I will say that this Bach nib has a bit of feedback to it, that I wouldn't describe it as glossy smooth. If you push it, you could get a little bit of variation in there. I'd say the ink flow is on the medium side in regard to some reverse writing. It is a little scratchy, but does write a nice extra fine line. And then in regard to some fast writing, the feed keeps up well. So there we have the Xezo Maestro Jubilee Classic of the Ocean. As I mentioned, it's $225 and available on the Xezo website. I'll put a link to it in the notes below. And I think it's an intriguing offering, and I think it has a unique look. I enjoy pens that have unique looks to them, and this pen certainly does. So it's well worth checking out. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.